Hello, everybody. I'm Don Counts. Welcome into Fayetteville Public Utilities. I have our CEO, General Manager Britt Dye here with us. Britt, how's it going?
That's going good. A lot going on.
A lot going on. Let's talk about what's going on. I know we had an operations meeting yesterday. You got to talk to all the guys and find out what's going on. Let's start with electric. Tell us what's going on there. I know you got upgrades everywhere, and tree trimming is a big one.
Absolutely. And right now we've been doing some conductor upgrade of going to bigger conductor on Liberty Road. If you've been out through there, you can see that we've been pulling quite a few conductors in, and we also upgraded on some of our sub-transmission line down toward Blanchard, changing out some 46 kV poles in that area. And also up toward Flintville, we've been changing out some 46 kV sub-transmission poles as well. Tree trimming, you know, the lots of rain that came through earlier, it's been a growing year, and we're trying to get caught up, which at this point in time, we're still way behind as far as cutting trees, but we are working on it.
Yep. When you talk about upgrading conductor, are you going to a bigger conductor because you have more load, or what's the reason behind that?
Yes, tries to, we prepare for the future of carrying additional loading, and especially if there's a little bit of growth going on, we want to try to be ahead instead of behind. And sometimes it doesn't work. We're still having trouble getting material in to some degree based on what the material could be. Delivery times, the tariffs have brought on a different as far as getting material as well. So, it's just a long process.
Yep. Let's talk about natural gas. I know this is not the natural gas season per se, but it's coming. But I'm sure you have maintenance that goes along with that year round.
Yeah, we've been working on the gas as well, checking regulators and those kinds of things at the main stations. And, we're looking at buying strips of gas now as we speak, seeing what's going to be available, what it might be looking like in the future, of trying to get some more in storage and seeing if we can get a good rate on gas. Gas is becoming more demanding now, especially with some of the generation that TVA is looking at and other folks are looking at as far as the natural gas.
And natural gas is... I'm talking out of turn here, but it's on the market, right, of some sort. You have to watch the prices.
It's on the market. You have to look at it, to see what the price of gas is going to be. It's a very volatile market. You just hope that you make a good decision. If you can get some strips, if it's for 6 months or 8 months. And again, if you start looking at purchasing for storage, we try to get a good rate that if you have to call on it, you got a good rate on your natural gas side.
It's good somebody's watching that because that's pretty tough to keep up with. Let's talk about water. We're blessed to have the Elk River going right through our community, so we have plenty of water, but we have to treat that water to make it drinkable. And the membrane filters that you put in, I guess, 15 years ago or so, still is the process.
Yes, and we're in the process of getting some delivered now to start changing out those membranes and adding some more membranes to be able to produce more water of treating water. And, the river, the weather, when the weather starts changing and, the leaves start falling, it brings a lot of other issues into the river. And plus you got a lot of runoff, from the farmlands. And so we have to be sure that everything's treated the right way to be sure we got good, safe, quality drinking water.
So we have our water tested and it's sent to the state, I think, or somewhere, and then they check to make sure that we're doing our job correctly.
Oh, yeah, the state's looking at you all the time, whether it be TDEC, EPA, all those folks right there, they looking at you to be sure that you are meeting all the requirements for safe drinking water. And
let's talk about distribution. That's another thing where the water is distributed, and that's one thing that you've been working on the Elk River.
It is, and we got a old line that goes up under the river bridge. It was put in many, many years ago, and the brackets that were holding that line, when we started doing some inspecting, we noticed, everything starts rusting, and we didn't need to take the chance to see if it would start breaking because, if one breaks, it could break 2 or 3 more, especially with the weight of that line. And so we got all those replaced. We're through on the river bridge, thank goodness. And, we can move on, and I knew it was aggravating to a lot of folks. We thought about working at night under the river bridge, but, it's really, as far as you being able to see, that you just couldn't get enough lighting to do what we needed to get done up underneath that river bridge. And plus, even though we got safety harnesses and you're caught off and all that, but, if something bad were to happen and somebody fall off in that river, trying to research and see what happened during the dark hours is a lot more unsafe than it is to work during the day.
One thing about that, as you mentioned, the weight of the water on those hangers. Plus, if you've been on that bridge enough, you know that bridge has always got a little shake in it. So I'm sure it's very important to have good hangers there. And I guess the water causes those things to rust a little bit.
It does, and you know you got a lot of condensation up on that river. It comes off the water of the river, and it does vibrate. That river bridge. If you ever, like you said, if you're ever standing there, or if you're looking up under that river bridge, there is a lot of vibration, especially when you got the bigger trucks that cross the bridge and
dump trucks.
We just want to be more proactive and then waiting to fix a problem after it happens. So, like I said, I know it was aggravating. It was bad timing during the day. I had to get it done, but that's what we had to do to get it done.
As we move on to talk about sewer, you're going to be working on that as well. You were working on the west side of Highway Huntsville Highway. Now you're going to move to the east side, so there'll be a little bit of more traffic disturbance as that starts.
It will be, but a lot of the sewer work, we hope that we'll be able to stay out of the lane. It's going to be on the shoulder just like it was on the east side. Some of that work will have to be done at night. If all of it can be done at night, we'll work at night, but a lot of it cannot be done at night. But we're going to try to stay out of the lane of traffic as much as we can.
As we talked about water, and as we move on into sewer, the Environmental Protection Agency is also keeps a close eye on us there, because the water that we put back in the rivers is as good or better than what we took out.
That's right. Just as important to meet all the rules, of EPA and TDEC again. We follow up under all that, and you got to meet the restrictions and all that's required to put the water back into the river.
As we talk about another important thing in our lives today is internet, and you are not far from servicing the entire county. You might talk about where we at with that and how close we are.
Well, we've been expanding in the east part of the county. We're down around the Blanche area. We're going to the west part of the county to get some of this middle mile grant completed. And now we've also applied for some more grant funds to get some more fiber ran. And before long, we have replaced some infrastructure inside the city with fiber, but we'll be moving in that direction of getting everything upgraded inside the city, because that was the first part we built back in 1999. We went into the fiber. It was a broadband with coax at that time, so it'll be getting upgraded very soon.
How long do you think it would take to do the city?
I'm going to say probably another 2 years, 2.5 years, something like that. We'll be starting on the underground subdivisions first. I believe was a plan right now, but we got to finalize our plan and see what direction we're going to be moving.
That'll be good, because that is the future. And this fiber, we feel like, I know when you built the cable plant years ago, you felt like it'd last a long time, but the fiber is probably here to stay.
Well, fiber, the new technology, a lot of wireless technology. All the material that we're using today to do the wireless technology, even with the fiber technology, is 1 year to the next, it's obsolete. And what are we doing? We're upgrading, we're replacing, all those kinds of things. And we have to have the system down sometimes for maintenance. But then again, that's just being proactive. We don't like being shut down. We like being able to go down at our control instead of it going down when it's not our control. So that's what we're trying to prevent.
One thing about the fiber technology is it has helped you connect to, I guess, virtually all your substations and all the other things, including it helps in the gas and the water meter infrastructure process, where we're actually reading the meters.
Right. When you got the advanced meter infrastructure now comes in, which it has been last couple of years, we just keep upgrading and getting more meter information coming into the office. But as well, we got a lot of equipment out in the field that we can operate with the SCADA system, with our dispatchers, and especially when we do remote switching, we can do it from the office. But we got a lot of information coming in now where we hope that we can get power restored quicker and safer. But it's not always the case, because if you got a tree on the line, it doesn't matter. We still got to go out and repair. But a lot of times we've been able to save a lot of time by being able to operate remotely.
One thing that we have to be concerned about in the next week is we've got dove season coming up, and during dove season, we have people shooting in dove fields where there's fiber lines and just, how those shotgun pellets will get into the fiber line and mess it up. And most hunters might not realize how vulnerable that particular product is.
Well, if you're not a good shooter, the easiest way to shoot a bird is off a line,
Yeah.
and because they're sitting there.
That's
But that's not what the line's for. The line is to provide service. And in today's world, with the new technology, you have a lot of people that depend on that fiber to work from home or telemedicine, all those kinds of things. So it's very, very important when you are dove hunting. I like to shoot doves myself. And, it's not made for you to shoot them off the lines. It's even if it's an electric line, if it's a cable line, if it's a fiber line, or whatever it may be, that's not what it's there for. And then when you cause a trouble like that, and we have a lot of people without service of any kind, could be power, could be fiber, and it creates a big problem because some of that fiber, if you got a 24 count, a 72 count, or 100 and something per count of fiber, and you damage that, you have a lot of people without service, and that just doesn't need to happen when you're dove hunting.
Takes a long time to splice that fiber, especially when you start talking about any time, as many fibers as you've talked about. I've only seen them do one, and it took a while to do one. I can't imagine doing 125 out in the middle of not a very good area to do it. But my point being is the downtime is, as you mentioned, but then you're going to have to send somebody out on, I think dove season opens up on September 1st, which is Monday. That's a holiday. You got to send people out to do that. And I guess every year we've had some issue somewhere.
Every year we've been having the issue, and we have expanded more rural with the fiber out in the county, and it creates a situation where if we don't have any storage loops close by where this fiber is damaged, it could be where you have to back up 1 mile, 2 miles, 3 miles to get enough storage on the fiber side to come in and splice all that fiber to get people where they got their service back. And, we just asked everybody to be cautious about where you shoot the birds. And somebody's going to be held liable.
That's right. TWRA stresses that hunters are responsible for where and what they shoot and should always be aware of what is beyond their intended target. And, I'm sure you've been in dove fields like I have before where you got sprinkled from the other side of the field, and I don't like that at all. But I definitely wouldn't like it if it took my internet out when I got home and couldn't watch Netflix.
Well, that's true. That's true. But, a lot of people, again, as I said earlier, they depend on the fiber.
They do.
Their jobs that they do from working at home depend on the fiber. And if some of this fiber, the way that we've had in the past, you're down for hours. Yeah. It's not going to be where you're down for 30 minutes. You're going to be down for hours.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm going to jump back up into our notes. We were going to talk about the water quality report. We need to market that 3 months in a row, which we do, and we've got that out. We talked about the things people might want to see what's in our water, what we do to treat our water. This is all in the water quality report, which is available online. You can go online and see that on our website, and we also have some paper copies here at the office. But there's a lot of people who need to see that. I think restaurants maybe, and maybe some industry as well.
Industry, restaurants, anything like that. They need the water quality report to be sure that we're meeting all their guidelines of what's required for them to be healthy.
Yep. So to view the 2024 water quality report, it's on our website, or you can stop by the office. It has been really hot this summer. We've had some really hot days, but we hadn't had any major hot days at this point. I'm sure we got some heat still coming down the pike.
I'm sure it's going to get hot again. It's just the 1st of September. Extremely hot. I don't know right now. The long-range forecast shows it to be a mild winter. But, that's looking way out there.
Yeah.
But, any of the hot days, the system held up very, very well. We didn't curtail based on what FPU could provide. We curtailed based on what TVA told us that we needed to do. But that just wasn't FPU. That was all local power companies that had to curtail. And plus, TVA's got the program out for demand response, which helped out tremendously during the real hot days. But I don't think we went into curtailment on 10 and 20, maybe a couple of times this past summer, I think.
I think that's right.
So, that was really good. And But we try to stay ahead of the game as much as we can of making improvements to the system, and that's still the direction that we'll be moving.
And TVA is continuing to seek out other ways of generating, or maybe even more generation.
Well, they're looking at the SMRs, the small modular reactors, and which can generate some power. And if you've been listening to President Trump talk, he's kind of getting away from the wind and solar, but and get more generation, whether if it be nuclear or natural gas and those kinds of things. And I look forward to making those changes as well, working with TVA and our local statewide to come up with some more generation.
Yep. All right. That's important for the future, as we're depending more and more on electricity every day. One thing, we mentioned natural gas earlier. During the summer, a lot of people turn their pilot lights off, and so they just leave it off. So then they have to get them relit in the fall, and so we have our free fall light up program from September the 8th through October 31st, and that's during regular business hours between 8 and 3:30. And you can schedule that by calling 433-1522. But if you do it outside of those hours, there's a charge, and they should be, especially $30 service fee during business hours and $50 after hours. So comes a cold snap, people's going to want that heat.
Yeah, and like you said, we got the free fall light up coming up, and take advantage of it, and we'll get you in business.
Yep. You talked about TVA. We have the STEM grant program for public and private K through 12 grades, get up to $5,000 to develop science, technology, engineering, and math projects in the classroom. This is a program that you keep a close eye on, and it's very important for our schools.
Yeah, several school programs. We have the robotics team that will be sponsoring a piece of that, and then you got the STEM grants. We also do the TAUD training, on the water plant side. It's happening with those folks too, and we're proud to be part of all of that, and we'll be getting more of that throughout the year.
And our Student Utility Board, we've got another great group of kids from all the school systems here. They met for their first meeting, and they got to meet all of our supervisors and our key people here, and looking forward to a good year with them. You might mention a little bit about what that program is.
Well, it's a good training program for students that want to see what FPU does. They're good students to have, and we welcome that because we want you to get involved in what we do for the community as well, and every service that we do provide. And the first meeting that we had, a lot of them was surprised and did not know that FPU provided all services. And we hope that they can go home and share that with their parents so they can get a better understanding of what FPU does, why we do it. And we would entertain anybody, if you want to know what we do or know more about FPU, come by and we can show you and teach you and all those kinds of things. I hope maybe in the future that we're going to be able to start, we don't know what we're going to call it yet, but we're going to maybe go out and have people, some kind of a group, so we can educate you and you can share it. And that way when something happens, you can explain as well as what we explain to other people why things are the way they are.
Yeah, we hope to give people the right information instead of the false information, which you see so much on social media, and that's what we're trying to keep from happening.
I don't think we can ever stop that.
Well, I know. There's a lot we could talk about there. But anyway, one thing I was going to tell you is on our YouTube channel, FPU, where you see this program, you can also look and see where we've put together a video of our student board so you can meet them and see them and see what they are here to offer. We've been very blessed to have 3 of the Student Utility Board who became employees here at FPU, and I know you're really proud of that, and I'm sure the future will be more of that.
Oh, absolutely. We hope so, with the younger generation, and they bring in really good ideas. Yep. And, and they're up on top of all this new technology, which helps all of us, right. Like me and you, since we're getting older. But
that's true.
What we have to do is just be sure we do a good job of listening to what they got to say.
That's true. School programs are getting back. As a reminder, FPU has some free programs to local schools to educate students about electrical and natural gas safety. You can call Riley Campbell here at 433-1522. 185 is her extension to learn more about that and find out what we have to offer. And we have the Louie the Lightning Bug, and we have the electrical experiments, and then we also have the big safety trailer that we show people as well. You might talk about that.
Yeah, we do, and it does a really good job of showing people the dangers, and just don't realize how dangerous it is. I know we got Touch a Truck coming up this weekend down in Ardmore. We'll be participating in that as well. But, a lot of dangers of how we got to do our job. There are certain steps we got to do our job, whether it be whatever service. It's all dangerous, and we have rules and policies in place that we have to follow. And it's like I tell all the employees, I want everyone to go home the same way they showed up that morning. And that's always been my goal, and they know that's my goal, and that's all their goals, to go home safe back to their families.
Safety is very important, and when you think about safety here, you think, well, first of all, electric, and that's dangerous, and then gas is also dangerous. There's dangers in water, there's danger in sewer, and there's also danger with telecom with the guys on the poles and working on in situations like they probably have to do this weekend. And so we appreciate all of them. We appreciate the fact that we're working hard here. There's so many programs we do to make sure, as you say, to keep our employees to go home like they came in.
That is correct.
All right. Well, we got Labor Day coming up this weekend. Again, dove season opens up. Please be careful on your shooting, and we'll be closed on Labor Day, but we have people here 24 hours a day. You were talking this morning about how lucky we are to have some really good dispatchers, and we have some really good ones who's available 24 hours a day. If you want to call somebody, you're going to find somebody in this building.
Yes, and, don't hesitate to call if you got a problem. Don't assume that we know that you got a problem. Sometimes we do before you call us, and there are some situations that, because when it hits a read or whatever, but always call in and tell us what you got, and we'll get it fixed and repaired or looked at.
So if you can call and report an outage at 433-1522. Another way, you can do Smart Hub for your young people. It's a really good app you can put on your phone. But as we said, dispatchers available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on holidays. And again, we appreciate that. We appreciate what you do, keeping us straight here at FPU and keeping everything up the right road.
Well, I try to keep everybody straight, but everybody's got to keep me straight.
That's right.
I'll just ask for some special thoughts here. Please keep the Smith family in your prayers. Right. They're still fighting a long, hard battle with that. And board member Miss Veronica King has keep her family in your prayers, and I would appreciate that very much as well.
Absolutely. We appreciate it. Britt Dye, our CEO, General Manager at Fayetteville Public Utilities. We appreciate you keeping us updated, and we also do updates periodically on the radio and on the Elk Valley Times. Weekly, we pretty much do that. So we're going to keep doing that, so you can always hear that. And if you need more information, call us here. We're always available to talk to you at 433-1522. I'm Don Kentz. We'll see you back in here next month.